Hi, my name's Bridget, and I worked for Nick Gonzalez and Linda Isaacs about 20 years ago.
Hi, my name is Mary McNair.
Hi, my name is Angela Rios, and I was a former employee of Dr. Gonzalez's.
Hi, I'm Chelsea, and I worked for Nick and Linda from 2006 until 2010.
Hi, I'm Leslie Beauvais. I worked for Dr. Gonzalez in the 1990s. I actually entered into Dr. Gonzalez's office as a cleaning person.
Hi, my name is Ingrid. I work as a general practitioner in Austria, and it is my pleasure to share about Nick.
Thinking about the 9 years that I worked for Dr. Nicholas Gonzalez and Dr. Linda Isaacs, the word blessing is what resonates with me.
I met Nick in 1991 in New York City after we had both finished worshiping at a church service in Manhattan, and so began a journey that took me to all kinds of different places.
I worked for him in the front office too after doing a good job for him as a cleaning person. He asked me to be a part of the staff, and I was very excited but a little intimidated because he was so brilliant.
Here's these two hardworking, highly intelligent physicians who are committed to their patients and committed to their research in being trailblazers in cancer treatment. I mean, they're a dynamic duo in modern day medicine. So we're a small office. There's 2 doctors and 2 or 3 staff. We're taking care of hundreds of patients all over the world, and they've set the office up on a foundation of faith, and we start each workday in prayer, and we're on a first name basis with everyone. There's a camaraderie in the office and with all the patients, and yet we take time to celebrate life.
In the beginning, I had no idea about medicine and certainly no clue about the therapy that Nick was doing. All I knew was that Nick was treating very sick cancer patients, most of them stage 4, who had no hope.
Working in Nick and Linda's office was a really important time for me. I had a really rough transition to living in New York City, and their office was my safe haven. No matter how many times I moved, their office was in the same place. And Nick and Linda created such a warm and welcoming environment that was evident to their patients and their employees. Everyone felt like a big family, and I think that's really important.
I thought working with him would just be a really great opportunity for me to learn more about medicine and working with patients. And I got that out of the experience and so much more. Working for Dr. Gonzalez was a really great opportunity for me. He was incredibly brilliant, but also very kind and patient. He always encouraged me and supported my dreams of going into medical school.
I then witnessed hundreds and hundreds of people going from one point to the next, getting well. With tenacity, diligence, a high 100% degree work ethic, Nick and Linda worked together to help so many people get better, get healed. And it was a joy to be able to watch that happen.
But these patients, they keep appointment after appointment, and they come in year after year, and you get to know them because they live, and you experience this miracle, and you realize you're part of this miracle team, and it's such a blessing.
One time I had the chance to sit in one of Nick's sessions. He was treating a patient who was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, stage 4, 10 years ago. Nick asked him how he was doing, and he said, well, for somebody who is supposed to be dead since 10 years, I'm doing great. I was blown away. I had never seen anything like that before. I was also very impressed by the way Nick treated his patients. He was so compassionate, he was so smart, and he did everything to help his patients.
So a funny story that I have about that was I had equilibrium problems one time because of some allergies I was going through. I would see him walk down the hall. I would either go to one side or the other so that I wouldn't bump into him. He thought it was because I was being intimidated by him, and he didn't want anybody working for him that was going to be intimidated by him. And I had explained, no, it's just that I'm afraid I'm going to bump into him. I have some equilibrium problems. And he was so generous that when he found that out, he said, well, go to my chiropractor. He'll fix you right up. I went and he fixed me right up. He was an Atlas chiropractor.
I was lucky enough to have both him and Dr. Isaacs write letters of recommendation for me when it came time for me to apply. And I'm happy to say that I am a medical student currently. I can only hope to be half as good of a doctor as Dr. Gonzalez was.
After about 1.5 years, I went back to Austria to study medicine myself because I really liked the idea of being able to help people so that they could get well again.
They influenced the way I live my life on a daily basis, the way I've raised my children, and the way that I've instructed them in their health and the health decisions we've made in our family.
I didn't realize at the time how unhealthy I was, but through applying their program and listening to their advice every day, I was able to get very healthy and get well again.
Nick was full of information. It was almost overwhelming how much he knew. But I believed everything he said because it was always the truth.
I think one of my favorite memories was really before the internet was popular. There were a lot of misconceptions about things that Nick was already teaching. So when I would share with whether it was my family or my friends or strangers that I was no longer using aluminum cookware, eating only organic, or I was making my own cleansers for my house, or when I painted my house, trying to find paint without VOCs, people thought I was crazy. But now, since people are on the internet, so much of what Nick taught is now not strange. Now it's just commonplace. So my husband and I always joke about it because he always says, yeah, that's what Nick was saying, you guys were talking about 25 years ago.
The biggest takeaway I got from working in their office was to be an advocate for myself, mostly in my health, which I didn't realize that could be an option, but also in other facets of my life.
I made a decision not to immunize my children, which people thought I was crazy. Now it's much more accepted. I'm very, very grateful that I had that influence before I had children, so I was able to make that decision.
I'm so grateful and so lucky that I had many months that I could spend with Nick and learn from him, and I will be forever grateful that I had the chance to do that. He will be missed forever, and he always will be my hero because no one cared and loved and did more for his patients than Nick did. I was totally shocked when I heard that Nick had passed away because the world has lost a great doctor, in my opinion, the greatest doctor there will ever be.
There are many Dr. Gonzalez stories I have, I'm sure, but the way I think I will choose to remember Nick is the man who could not be told no and would never stop fighting, whether that meant for his patients or for his medicine and his program or for his employees. He was a champion for everyone, and he almost felt like an invincible champion, which is why it was so startling to me to find that he passed away last summer. And I think it was that way for many people. We lost our champion in our corner.
I was shocked to hear of Nick's passing away. However, I know that his legacy will live on in the program that Dr. Isaacs has taken over. And I know she will do great things to help many people maintain that hope and that dignity and that chance of getting well in a dignified fashion.
He is truly missed, and I know that Dr. Isaacs will continue to carry out his work and do a great job with it. I wish her all the best.
Linda, I know running the practice on your own was never something you intended or wanted, but I think Nick would be really proud and really happy to know that you're continuing on the program. and that you're continuing to save lives.
Linda, I know that you're carrying on that generous spirit with your new practice, and I wish you all the best in your practice. Thank you for carrying on the torch.
It's stunning and very sad that Nick is no longer with us, but I am fully confident that Linda can carry on his work. The world is certainly a much better place because of it, and having that resource available is invaluable. So I wish you the best, Linda, with all of your endeavors.